And so we're here to find solutions. If we've done certain things right, we need to also commend ourselves for doing those things right. Let's get talking right about now. Let me speak to Daddy Bosco, the Buffalo himself. Buffalo.
Yes, sir.
You good?
Yes, sir.
Everything alright?
Can't complain. Can't complain.
Yo.
They say Ghana, if you complain, then you're wasting your time.
You don't need to complain at all.
Nope, sir.
Yes. So Daddy Bosco is he's the communications head and also in charge of special projects at Showbiz A, and he's here today to help us with a discussion. Let me ask you the first place. You've been in this industry for some time now, as a media person, as a music person, for this while. If you were to assess this industry, the music industry, how would you say we've fared so far? Since you grew up, monitoring everything, observing everything in the industry till now. Your assessment.
Okay, to be honest, I think the Ghanaian music industry now is looking very attractive, and I'll give reasons. I started this journey as a musician, so we had a band called SOZ.
Yeah.
And we used to play all over Accra. We used to play at the Afro-Caribbean Center. That was more like our residence. And in those days, you couldn't really make a living at a certain level. You had to be on a certain level to make a living. And to be an established act, those were the days we had, I think, just GBC. So the channels to market for exposure were pretty much limited. Now, over, let's say, 40 years down the line, today, and I tell young people it's really a bit more easier to be known than in the past, because from your laptop, you could go to the world. So the barriers of entry are not as entrenched as in the past. Also, with the kind of endorsements and commercial deals that are available today, I dare say the industry is a bit more lucrative than in the past. That's my opinion.
Okay, let me pass this same question around to Doc.
Yes, boss.
Questionist.
Yes, sir.
A few weeks ago, we were here talking about gospel music. We're doing a general assessment of the music industry. If you look at all that we've gone through over the years, would you say we're making progress in this industry, music industry in general?
We are making individual progress, but not to the collective. And until we are able to make collective progress, we will not be able to achieve the bigger picture of the music industry. This is very, very key and important, that until we are able to have a collective progress for the music industry, it will be difficult for us to be able to actually make a headway or be able to envision how and where we are going. As it stands now, it's all about individual progress, and that is very, very tough.
But the music business is an individual business. It's not a collective business. So
I understand. The music business is an individual business. But when I remember years back when I joined the music industry as a music producer, in as much as it was individual persons that were performing or practicing, there was that collective interest of, there was that collective growth. So you can wake up one morning and go here. They say that, okay, Big Ben is here, John Mensah is here, this person is here, Nankani is here, Jakwapo Production is here, Ajikot is here, this person is here. And this is what I'm talking about, the collective growth. That you can see these individuals empowered enough. And they are able to pull, and they are driving the music industry. An industry without a collective growth will, suffice me to say, will remain like, maybe yes, we are all trying. When you get tired and you can no longer travel, then you step aside. That's what it's looking like, and that's what today. That's what it's looking like. That you see artists who have not even retired from music industry, and it's looking in quotes that they are retired. They are retired already, because there's no funding to push them. They are tired. They've done it individually and they are tired. And so give me 10 artists who are making it big in Ghana now. Give me just 10.
Are you sure we can't have 10 people making it big in Ghana?
I say you give me 10.
Shatawale is making it big.
One,
Stomboy, Sarkodie,
three,
Kiddy,
three,
Kwame
four,
Eugene,
five,
Black Sheriff,
6,
Joe Metal,
7,
Celestine Donko,
8,
Hannah Hamilton.
9.
A lot.
Oh.
a lot of them. Because a lot of them. And if I, yes,
You know, this is, and we are talking about the 32 to 35 million population of Ghana. That's what we're talking about. And you just struggle to count the number 10.
I didn't struggle though.
Yes, you struggled. You just struggled to count the number 10 out of a 35 million population of the Republic of Ghana. And that is how serious it is on the situation on the ground. That until we're able to make collective progress as an industry, we will still have a lot of things to be worried about. And as at now, we should be worried about a lot of things.
You keep talking about collective progress. How do we do that?
It comes with a number of factors. It comes with a lot of factors. From the government perspective, from the individual perspective, from the various generous perspective,
Okay.
from the media perspective, together, that can be able to give us that collective growth that we're expecting.
We'll get to that.
A Ghanaian perspective, for a Ghanaian to be able to recognize that this is Ghana, this is Ghanaian, and it's important for us to be able to give priority to anything Ghanaian. That gives us the collective progress that we are talking about.
All right. Kwesi Ernest will come back to that particular point later on the show. Still here on Showbiz A to Z, Joy 99.7 FM. We're live on myjoyonline.com, live on Facebook, live on Twitter Spaces. We're live everywhere, just like MTN, everywhere you go. And so make sure that you connect with us now on social media. Let me go to Kwame Rasta, who is a poet and artist manager. Kwame Rasta, are we making any progress at all as a music industry?
Yes, I believe so. I believe so because today we find ourselves in a situation where we can confidently dream about a $10 million lawsuit. It's unprecedented.
Thank you.
It doesn't mean it is coming or it has arrived. But we are in that position. Kwesi Ernest sitting right next to me. I don't know what he has done with his life to be called or to be tagged a doctor. But it's not like I know.
That's his nickname, though. It's his nickname. It's a Nicky.
Oh. Okay, so it's like Dr. Khan, like Dr. Sonny Badu. Is that what you're saying?
Before you finish your submission, you have taken a lot of people to jail.
Okay, so if it's just your nickname, that's fine, and I listeners should pardon me. We've not gotten to that doctorate level yet, but again, I think we've made giant leaps. We have a handful of Ghanaian born-bred musicians gracing worldwide platforms. I'm not even citing the few who were raised out there. I'm talking those who from the Ashiamas. You talk of Stoneboy, the Shatawalis, the Sarkodies. We were here with them. So we've made giant leaps. I mean, back in the day, before the mid 90s or just before the Y2K compliant era, we could cite Rexuma, Daddy Lumba, Kojo Entry, Manziba as a huge music act, flying high the flag of Ghana. But beyond the shores of Ghana, you couldn't really pride yourselves with their work. It wasn't as huge as today. We are making the worldwide charts with born-bred Ghanaian acts. You know, back in the day, we didn't have, or persons who were acting as artist managers or within artists' entourage didn't amount to a lot. I joined the fray recently in 2001 as a teenager, and when I look around,
2001 is recently.
Let's proceed. When I look around me and all I amount to, looking at my skill set, but for having served in various capacity in management, I wouldn't be what I am today. When I met Professor Atu Kwe Okai in the parking lot of the Maximat, and I approached him, introduced myself, and told him I was an artist manager. I was like, wow, that's a new one. And then off the top of his head, he advised me, but this is somebody who belongs to a different era and had just been introduced to a new enterprise within the art space. And that's what I was then, you know. So I believe that we have made giant leaps. I mean, our female musicians, for instance, starting from Becca through the Miss Bell to Ebony, God bless her soul, to today Jackie. Before this era of female musicians making these incursions, we didn't really have, apart from Madame Irama Bedu and just a few. But today, in as much as we've grown in population, we have serious female acts who are who would not be found wanting mounting any stage in terms of performance. Riala, Sheriff Agunu back in the day was not seen in the same light as Riala today, so in spite of their similarity. So we have made giant leaps, Kwame, and of course that's not to pretend like we shouldn't have been in better light, considering what is happening on the world stage. It could be better, it should be better, but we have migrated a lot. Yeah.
Thank you, Kwame Rasta. Let me move to Dada Hafko, who is a musician. Dada Hafko,
Right.
are you impressed with our performance as a music industry in Ghana? Are you impressed so far?
It's a yes and a no.
Start with the no.
The no. Okay, so the no's are many, actually. We are not being protected enough. I mean, the industry as a whole, the gatekeepers. I mean, I need not to wake up early in the morning and hear one of the biggest morning shows in Ghana playing a foreign song. I need not. That is a no. We are not being protective enough, because we've opened our boundaries. Like, our boundaries is so open, everything can just come in and just stay there. Because for instance, if I wake up in the morning, I'm listening to a big radio morning show and they are playing a foreign song, what are you telling the next generation? What are you telling the kids that are listening? It feels like we do not have even enough musicians in Ghana, so we'll be doing a show that speaks our own language and be playing other foreign songs. So the notes are many. Why is the broadcasting bill still sitting in Parliament over a decade now? You understand? Look at how much money we've been pumping to the Black Stars. I am an avid football lover. I would love to watch football every time. But since '82, if we haven't won any trophy, why do we keep doing it? When in recent times, Ghana has become a hub for entertainment every Christmas. Why are we not channeling enough energy? Because Ghana entertainment is actually putting Ghana on the map in recent times more than even football. You understand? So why are we not putting more energy into that? And if we are a people who love to put our entertainment on that level, why is the broadcasting bill still sitting in Parliament? Because that is where everything starts from. You know, if the structure needs to go right, it needs to start from where the law, you know, speaks. Because we need not to have people on radio having the liberty to play anything they want. You understand? Because if I come here and a DJ is here, the DJ is playing what he wants. So then eventually he's going to play probably, you know, some foreign songs, whoever has, you know, probably sorted him out, and maybe some song. You know, but we need to structure the things right, because there are a lot of artists in Ghana who are making giant strides but are not getting airplay, like the Wireless, like the Wallaces and all. Why? Because they don't fit into the today's playlist, because we need a certain tempo to play. You understand? But if we are structuring all these things right, all these people will have a spot. How many new artists are we breaking in Ghana these days? The whole of last year, did we break any new artists last year? We are in the fourth year. We are in the fourth month this year. Have we broken any new artists? You understand?
There was last mid last year.
Last mid, 34 million, one new artist. Cool. But think about it. You understand? Look at our neighbors and look at how they are moving. You know, today there's confusion in Jamaica because Afrobeat is taking over. They want to stop it, even in the UK. You understand? So, as much as we talk about the positives, the no's are many, a lot that we need to. Because, look, we are not being generational thinkers, Kwame. Everybody is thinking their pocket. Who should come and think for the next generations to come? You understand? If we will all be like this. If you give me $1 million right now and I go to Russia to promote that I have go, the system won't allow you. The people, the gatekeepers who are there, they won't take even the money from me if I even want to bribe them to get on the show. They won't. Because their mindset, they've been built to the point that, look, we are protecting our bands. How many, can you name me 10 rappers in Nigeria today? It's impossible. It's not because there are no rappers there. They rap, but they have seen the light. You know, they are championing a certain agenda. Do you think there are no rappers in Jamaica? There are. But can you mention any of them? They are championing a certain agenda. What have we been championing? Nothing. What is the identity of our music? We don't know. You understand? So these are things, if we want to really sit back, because look, like Doctor said, if we want to talk about individual brilliance and achievements and all, everybody, at the end of the day, after 100 years, we can get maybe 10 Ghanaian artists who made loads of money, build properties and all. We can get that. But what was the impact on society? You understand? We need to do more. We need to, like, set an agenda, be deliberate. And for me, the last time me and you were having a conversation on Facebook, that is where the VGMA comes in for me. Like I say, if the VGMA says today that the biggest award on the VGMA night is the one who wins maybe the High Life Song of the Year or the High Life Artist, do you know what it will bring? It will move a lot of people to start doing that genre. Besides that, because it will come with a prize package, everybody will move into that arena. When it happens like that, do you know what will happen? It will spark a revolution. When it sparks that revolution, we're gone. That's what the Nigerians are doing. They have a lot of genres in Nigeria, but Afrobeat is spearheading everything. 3 days ago, I have a white friend who was on holiday in Morocco, and she called me and said, they are playing your song here, and my tour guide is saying you are Nigerian. So I want you to confirm to him that you are Ghanaian. I didn't tell, because for them, they do not understand the language. They don't know the difference between the languages, right? So once they hear the thing singing a certain Bibino, they think it is from Nigeria. So we, like I say, the more we keep doing this, we'll keep living in the shadows of others. We need to be our own people.
That they have cool. You've spoken about the negatives or the other side.
Yeah.
Now tell us about the positives. How far have we fared?
Of course. I mean, the positives has been a lot. We've had artists breaking into the international zone. like Black Sheriff has even got featured in a movie and all of that. We've had producers who have produced songs that have been to the Grammy, you know. So these are positive things that we can look at and build upon it. But obviously the negatives overshadow the positives, and so we need to do more.
All right, Joy 99.7 FM, Showbiz A to Z, and we're still here talking about Ghana's music industry, the highs, the lows, and the untapped opportunities. And we have one great personality joining us for this discussion. We have a lot to learn from him this afternoon. Yeah, so our guest is a renowned music producer. He has so much love for music, and his love for music started manifesting during his secondary school days when he played drums for the Accra Academy School Band. And then at the KNUST, he found love in the guitar. Now, he played for various Christian groups in Accra, in Kumasi, and other places. Now, he started recording at the ARC studio in Tema, and then he moved to the CHM studio in Accra and later moved to Campsite. Now, prior to owning his own studio, he recorded at TLC Studio. Now, you may have listened to a number of songs he's produced over the years. Let me run you through some of them. Ago by Reggie Rockstone. Choboy, Reggie Rockstone. Nightlife in Accra, Reggie Rockstone. Visa, Reggie Rockstone. Keep your eyes on the road, Reggie Rockstone. And Men's Son, Reggie Rockstone. Big Dreams, Wuta. Yes, Big Dreams was produced by Zap Mallet, Obutantim, Mechiro Obutantim, Francis J, Sambra, Root I, Abrewanana featuring Samini, Esisemeso, Zap Mallet. Okay, and Udin, Prayer, Kokoko, Dasibre Jamina, Middo, Lord Kenya, and lots of them. Last 3 years, I compiled about 60 of the songs that this man produced that most people don't even know that he was the brain behind. Ladies and gentlemen, we have this afternoon joining us Emmanuel Zap Mallet. He's a giant in the music industry. Zap, finally we are here.
Yeah. After being dodged all the while, finally we meet.
Finally, Uncle Zap is here with us. And
I found myself here. I don't know how I even got here.
Oh, really?
I wasn't expecting.
But this is your home. This is your home.
Well, this has been my own home. But after a while, things change and people grow out of things, and this has ceased to be my home for a long time. Yeah. But it was my home. When Joy FM started, we all started with Okreku and Cox Tamaklo and everything. But at this stage, things have changed.
So let me say, welcome back home.
Well, thank you. Thank you anyway.
Now, you have experienced the music industry, from different generations till now. We are making an assessment of the industry. How would you rate our performance as a music industry from the time that you were growing up to the time that you were actively involved in music business till now that you've seen people come into the fray? What's your assessment?
Well, I think there's a lot of development, in that respect. I mean, come to think of it, I think things are moving forward as far as I'm concerned. Back in the day, it used to be hybrid kind of recording. We used analog together with digital, but today it's pure digital. Everything is in the box, everything is a computer. Things have changed, and people are taking it to a new level. Back then, the business aspect wasn't too, it was a little bit hazy. We didn't know things like the copyright law was there, but we weren't really applying things. Things like split sheet and things were not there. But not that they were not there, but we weren't applying them. But today, there's that kind of enlightenment where everybody's realizing that at least if I'm a creative person, or I have a contribution in some creativity or creative something, I need to get what is due me and all that. Things have changed. The business part has improved tremendously. So I think it's getting on to a good thing, But when I came, I heard you were talking about this Nigerian and Ghanaian thing.
Yes, we will get there.
Yeah, okay.
We are building up slowly.
I'm waiting.
Now, let me have a bit of a chat with you, like uncle, and you see.
Kwame. We are both Kwames. I'm also Kwame, yes.
I'm also Emmanuel.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Now let me ask you, before you got into music production way back, which people were your influences? Which producers at that time were your influences?
Oh well, my influences were more from America. You know, more from the capital of the music industry or the music world. Let's say, I mean, America. Everybody looked up to America, and my influences came mainly from Quincy Jones. Listening to him a lot, producing Michael Jackson, producing George Benson, producing all these greats, and what do you call him, Miles Davis and other people. He working with other good artists like recording and producing We Are the World and stuff like that. You know, my influences started from there. How I combined the artists together, how I combined the artists and the players or the rendition of the instruments together, and came up with his sound. And then I followed a little bit of Babyface and Ellie back in the 90s, and then Teddy Riley came up, and you know, he was also an influence. So I've had mainly my influences from outside. I wouldn't say from Ghana.
You didn't have any local producer that you
No,
admired?
no.
Those that you admired and took a few
No,
things
by
from?
then I think maybe I was on a different landscape. What I wanted to achieve was not more of what I could get from here. So my influences were coming from US, because really I wanted to. I was very ambitious.
Which year was that? Which year did
I
you
was very
actively
ambitious.
start this whole production? Which year was that?
Oh, let's
actively?
say in the mid 90s. In the mid 90s, yeah. In the mid 90s, yes.
So which music producer did you come to meet in the industry?
In Ghana?
Yeah.
Oh, the one I'd say who was actively like a music producer who was into actively producing music was probably Charles Samoa. He did a lot for Tommy Redu, if you remember Tommy Redu.
Yeah.
And he wrote a song and did a couple of songs with Lumba, Onyansa Minti, if you remember. So basically yes, but Samia One was mainly an engineer. He is an engineer, mainly an engineer.
Faisal.
Well, his dad was of a different league altogether.
Okay.
His dad was a different. Please, as for when you mention Samia One, Faisal One in there, please don't take me there. But me, I'm a small boy. When it comes to Faisal One, I'm a tiny little boy. You know, that man was great. You know, and you know, so there are a lot of things back then. You know, so that was it basically. Yeah.
You did a lot of great songs. You know, what were the inspiration for your sounds at that time?
Well, the inspiration mainly comes from the song that I'm giving, basically. I look at the song, like the artist. When you get sometimes the song also gives you back. When you're working on it, it gives you back an inspiration. And out of that, so it becomes a cycle. Okay. It's a cyclical thing. So as the inspiration comes, you're also churning out your inspiration. You are putting in more. And then it keeps inspiring you. So it becomes a cyclical thing. So that's basically where the inspiration comes from. But usually, my inspiration is like, at the end of the day, I want to have a sound which can be played side by side with maybe Madonna, or side by side with maybe Teddy Riley or something. You know, that's my aim. That's my inspiration. That's where I want to reach. You know, so that was what I was working on actually, basically. Even with the local productions that I was doing, I wanted to reach a certain level, which is attainable but hasn't been attained yet. Yes.
Which other producer did you train when you were at the prime of your career?
Oh, well, I think if you talk about training, particularly training, I think I have to come clear there. It's not like that was somebody that I catch his hand and say, "Come, let me go and train you." Stand in the ghost pose. This is how to dive. This is how to wear the gloves. No, not like that. But I'll say I've inspired a lot of people. You know, a lot of people picked inspiration from me. Perhaps I won't be able to name them and say that, okay, this person I trained, you know, but they picked an inspiration from me. For instance, when I was at CHM, there was a guy there, Zola, who I trained.
Zola.
Who came also with JQ. You know what I mean? So there's a connection there.
Okay.
So that's the kind of thing I've been doing throughout the years. Yes, like adding or giving up inspiration, giving out the vibes, you know, for other people to pick up on. Yes.
Still at the prime of your music production career, did you have any competitors at that time?
Oh yeah.
And who were they?
Yeah, there was Nana King. There was you remember Ashanti International?
Ashanti International.
International. There was Nana King. Yeah, there was Nana King.
Uncle, the Ashanti International, was it for Nana King himself or somebody?
I don't know.
But now that we are trying
Voices.
Ashanti
I
International.
get.
now that we are making claims for
I know.
we need to
I know.
what the original
I know,
owners of
but-
this,
Matter no come yet.
But
so
since
not
I'm
come
not
out.
since I'm not much into that,
Yeah.
like putting in signature tunes, because you realize with my production I don't put in those things.
Why don't you do that? Why did you not do that?
So I avoid to avoid some of these problems anyway. But but anyway, yeah. So as I was saying, so what was
Competitors, the competitors.
Yes, the competitors. So they were there. Then came JQ. JQ came. Apparatus came later on, and there were a few of them. And at that time, producers had a clout. Back in the day, the producers had a clout. The producers have they have their own sound. That when you go to the producer, you get the kind of sound to come up with. JQ had a sound. When you go to JQ, he had a sound with his breaking of glass and everything. He had this, apart from the breaking of the glass, you can hear. He had a kind of sound that he propagated. The same with Pietus. Nasi too had a kind of sound that he propagated and that kind of thing. So having said that, the competition was enjoyable.
Great.
We could enjoy it because it set the differences in sound and set us apart from each other. Set us apart from each other. You could see that this guy is from this person's camp, this one from this person's camp. But today it's no more. Today when you hear the songs are all homogeneous. You hear the sound from a different studio, you hear another sound from a different studio, and they sound the same. You understand what I'm saying? But then it was not like that. It was not like there was a demarcation. If you hear the sound from Zap Mallet, you hear this is Zap Mallet. Even today, I believe. But if you hear from JQ, you hear this is from JQ, if you hear from Play, but today it's not so. I don't know how it is like. It's all over. It's homogeneous all over. But well, it's all part of the growth process. So
How does that affect music production in general when we're not able to tell this particular production from another?
Well, for me, as long as people like it, as long as the audience, the end product is acceptable to the people. I mean, that's okay for me. It doesn't really matter. You see, the point is, the person listening to your song does not give a hoot about what microphone you used. He doesn't give a hoot about the computer you use, whether you use an Apple Mac or use a PC, whether you use a Cubase or use a Logic Pro or you use a whatever, or whether you use a pre-mic or whatever. So at the end of the day, it is what you are able to churn out of the things that you have. If it is good and people like it, they'll go for it. Yes, that's it basically. At the end of the day, satisfying your listeners and your audience. That's it.
Are there some of these new generation of producers that you've listened to the works and you feel like I love what they do? Can you mention a few of them?
Yeah. I can't really pick them out and mention them offhand, But at least I've heard a few. Going forward, I mean, I think they are okay. They are doing their best. I mean, it's their time today, and they are, and it's good for them, and they are moving forward with it. I think it's okay.
I've heard people complain about sound quality. They compare our sound quality to other countries, and they think, we need to up our game.
Well, we'll up our game. We'll up our game, and gradually we'll up it. Kwame. Don't worry. I think it takes it. These things they happen sometimes. You realize there are lapses in your development as you are going on, but we'll correct it as we move on. Some of them have to come and learn still, but you see, there's a disconnect between the older generation and the younger generation. You see, there's a disconnect. There's a disconnect. So some of them didn't really come off us. They just picked up of their own, and they are doing what they can. So we just have to allow them to. Don't make mistakes, but we just have to allow it. It's all part of the growth process. Yeah.
So about 3 years ago, you were right here on this show, and you said something about you said you had regretted doing music in Ghana at that time. Would you say that this job has not really paid you that much?
Oh well. Of course, I've got what I'm supposed to get out of it. So no, I mean that one there, no talking. Yeah, because whatever I've got out of it, I've been able to build my house. I've got my family out of it.
Fantastic.
And then that's it. I mean, I think it's basically it. But I would have been happier if it had been another environment. I always say something. There's something I say, and I think I even posted it on Facebook the other time. I said it's a noble profession. Music is a noble profession, but in the wrong location. You understand? Music is a noble profession, but in the wrong location. You see, I mean, you are talking about countries where the slightest thing you do. I mean, you see, like I look through songs on my free time. I sit down, go through social media, go through Facebook and what do you call it, YouTube and things.
Yeah.
And there are some songs that are written by about 8 people. For instance, this song by Bruno Mars. I've forgotten. It was produced by Mark Ronson, and when I saw, I was shocked. It was produced by 8. It was written by 8 people. The song was written by 8 people, and you can imagine all these 8 people are going to get their cut out of whatever is going to accrue out of it. You know, so that's what we're talking about. A very good environment. But here, you even contribute to an artist's work, and it's like he doesn't even see. He's even telling you that you should move away. Like you contribute to hip life, and they tell you are not part of it. You understand what I'm saying? Things like that. So we are talking about an environment which is so hostile. We are hostile to ourselves. I believe that's the problem. We are hostile to ourselves. But apart from that, we are in a very noble profession. Most of us don't know that. I don't believe we know that. But we are in a very noble profession. This profession, one man said some time ago. I don't know whether I have to believe him or not. But he made a good statement. He said, "Look, apart from drugs, this is one of the paying jobs in the world. Music. It's one of the most paying jobs in the world. You don't retire as a musician. You like your credit, your copyright will always come to you.
Yeah.
You don't even need social security. Your social security is your registration at every collective society, any collection society you have, whether ASCAP or BMI or whatever. And your this will just keep coming. At 70 years, even 70 years after you are gone. It will come all your life till you are gone. 70 years is next of king cry is chopping. You understand what I'm saying?
Do you get yours?
Yes.
Do you get yours?
No, I don't. I only get money from Gamro. And Gamro, how much are they going to give you? How much is Gamro going to give you? You understand?
How much do they give you?
Gamro doesn't give
What's the
anything.
highest you've received from them?
Gamro doesn't give anything. Look, the best thing to receive is like if I had there are certain things that maybe I have not done right. Like this split sheet thing. You see, I remember back in when I was on the board of Gamro.
Okay.
I was on the board for 2 years.
Okay.
I think Bosco will remember that. And we tried instituting the split sheet from the office with Abraham.
Abraham Dadzie?
Yes.
Okay.
But that thing was shut down. I don't know why. That back then we shut it down. We tried getting the Accra.
Which year was this?
Oh, when I was on Gamro, I think 2017.
Okay.
Thereabouts. Yes. They shut it down because we asked the Accra producers, engineers to meet us at Gamro, and they didn't show up. Just for about 5 of them showed up. Panji and about JQ was there, and about 3 others. The thing didn't see the light of day. So we went to Kumasi to go and meet the engineers, and they were more enthusiastic. They were more like they were in for it. We could have instituted it. But the unfortunate thing is that when we came back to Accra, we came to the office. The office didn't even want to know. Nobody wanted to care about what we even went to do. No. So the whole thing was shot before the Sheriff John Brown shoot it down before it grows. You understand what I'm saying? Kill it before it grows. You understand? Yeah, Sheriff John Brown. The Sheriff John Browned it. You see, but this thing could have taken up, even if however it was, we could have started it and it would have generated into something much bigger. Now today we are fighting over split sheet. Probably if I had done that back in the day, I would have been earning so much. I would have even had a retirement plan somewhere in Bahamas or something. But because we don't do that here, you see, there are people who have written songs, great songs for people, but they are not credited. They are not credited.
Yeah.
Like when you go back in the time, like the Noble Kings. If you don't know Noble Kings, KJC and the Noble Kings. Yeah. Eric Ajima and Thomas Ripo were writing most of the songs, but they were credited to Noble Kings, to KJC. You understand what I'm saying? So these are some of the anomalies that we had back in the day that were not taking care of the business part of it. the business part of it was not being taken care of. So that's why we are.
But now we
today.
need to rectify that.
Yes,
now.
we need to rectify that. Seriously, we need to rectify it. Those of us who are still in the business, we need to rectify it for the next generation that comes, so that any creative person will earn what he's supposed to earn out of the creative process. Yes.
Great. We'll come to that
Whether it's
copyright conversation later on when we get deeper into all that. But a few months ago, you wrote something on Twitter. You said, I guess many are those who have lost the art of songwriting because they are always chasing after a hit. Hit, hit, hit. Let's hear songs. A lot of us didn't really understand what you meant by that. Could you explain?
Yeah. Listen, I thought you had even forgotten about it too.
I don't forget like that. We don't forget.
Yeah, but you know, I wrote this thing because of some of the experiences I get in the studio. I've had, you know, in the years back then, from then to now, you know. Some of them, when you're at studio, Kwame, sometimes they come to you, they say they want a hit, and I'm like, you want a hit? Is your song a hit? But they'll just say they want a hit, and I'm like, why do you want a hit? That's all they want. They just want a hit. I'm telling you, do you want to do a song, or you just want a hit? There are two different things between a song and a hit.
Okay.
You see, I always say something, Kwame. I say every song can be a hit, but it's not every hit that is a song.
Wow.
Yes. Every you see, when if you ask me what is a good song, I ask you what is a good song. You yourself, you know. Everybody knows what a good song is.
A good song is a song that I like. The one that I like.
Every song. Look, for instance, well, I wouldn't want to mention names and mention titles here, but we all know what a good song is. We all know what a good song is.
What is it? What are the parameters?
You know,
what are the
you know when I ask you
the features?
You know. Oh please, you know that is not a song.
But
And somebody used the same example to
okay.
to bring up an argument.
Are we saying Pataper's One Corner is not a song?
You ask yourself, is it?
It is music.
It is.
It has rhythm.
So that's what I'm saying. That exactly. So a song, every song can be a hit, but it's not every hit that's a song. You don't get me. So the fact that you are trying to do something, the fact that you've had a hit does not mean that what you're playing is a song. Many people may like it, but it doesn't mean it's a song.
Really?
Yes.
But what is a song though?
Because if you listen to a song like I'll Always Love You, Whitney Houston, I mean it's a song, straight up. It tells you it's a song. Hello, Michael Jackson, Lionel Richie tells you a song. But if you listen to a song like, what do you call it? Like I said, that's why I don't want to mention some titles.
Some titles.
Yes, some titles. If you listen to it, you realize that this is not a song. It's just a chant. It's just something that people are just excited with. They just get excited. And you'll be surprised within 3 months. You don't be surprised. Within 3 months, top 6 months is dead.
But Zap, how long does I don't know, how long should a song last?
A song, I believe, should outlast even the creator. Look at Bob Marley. How long has Bob Marley been dead? Bosco. How long?
But do songs die though? Do songs die though? Once the song is out there, it's been published, it's there. Mm-hmm. It's not dead.
Yes. But we know some of them die. You and I know. You as a presenter, you know some songs are dead.
I'm learning from you, so you are educating me.
Yes,
we are all learning.
We are all learning.
Listeners, yeah.
We are all learning. We all know and we all complain. We hear people complain that the songs after 3 months, never, after 6 months, never, and you know, stuff like that. Well, I know some songs are still existing. Some songs outlive. They make their timeless. They don't die. Even the person dies, it lives with them. It lives after them. You know, and like I said, Bob Marley is a clear example. Bob Marley has been dead since 1981. Yeah. But we are still enjoying his music today. And some of the songs, when you listen to them, like as if they were made about 2 years ago. You understand what I'm saying?
So are you suggesting that for a song to last longer, the songwriting components should be top notch?
Yeah, why not? Why not? If you are going for the kill, go for the kill.
Is it all about the songwriting alone, or there are other components that must be looked at?
Oh, there are other components like the production and stuff. You know, it's also important. You can't just have a good song and take it to some roadside producer to do it for you. He might even carry the song to a different trajectory. You understand what I'm saying? Yes. So even the production is important. So even apart from the song itself being good, the production must be top notch. You understand? Otherwise, Whitney Houston would have taken the worst of producers to produce his songs, but he got the best, who is David Foster, to do the best for him. You know, so I believe that the reason why I say that, the reason why I made that statement is that, you see, when it happens like that, people look for a certain formula, because the hit is always like a trend, is what is going on at the time. So people like follow. So even if it's not your cat crowd, because it's like this, so you have to do that. I remember I met some guys, some artists, and they came with a certain, I think they came with a hip life song or something like that, and they were doing it, and I could, and in fact, eventually I told them that, look, what they're doing is not cutting it. I told them what they're doing is not cutting it, and they told me that, boss, you know, we will be reggae boys, so we dance hall boys, but they say hip life, so we do hip life.
Oh, okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
And when was that?
Oh, this is about 2005, 2006. You
Okay.
understand what I'm saying? So these are the things that I keep hearing, and it bothers me. Like, oh, so it's like we're not trying to sit down and write songs, but we're just looking for hits and anything that can. So it means that if you can just put some kick and some chants together and something to give us a hit, we just go ahead and do it. So we don't take our time to say that we have an inspiration. We want to write a song about this, and we are writing it about transgender. We are writing or something.
Zap
Or
Mallet.
transnationals, you know, so or something like no, but we are always looking for a hit, something which will take us. And some of the hits, Kwame, I mean, I remember somebody was mentioning the economics of it, but some of the guys, they don't look for hits for the economics of it, not because they can make money, but because they want fame and glory and the women and the girls. That's all. Trust me. Oh yeah, so that when they are going on the street, they point, oh now I in the yes, I knew. I agree with the yeah, oh,
But are these all not parts of the quest to be in the industry?
Oh
They're
yeah,
all
it's all part of it. It's all
part of the
it.
benefits,
But
right?
if
Show business.
yes, if that's what you want, that's all right. Go ahead with it. If that's what we remain like that. Then let's not complain with our industry if things don't change and remain the way. If you want to remain like that, It's okay. It's
But
okay.
you can do those and still have your songwriting
Yes.
skills on point.
Why not? Why not?
Then
You
it
can do that.
complements the other things.
Why not? You can always look. I'm not saying that nobody should chase for hits.
Okay.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
Look, let me tell you something. When I did what do you call it? When I did Kokoko,
Yeah.
I wasn't looking for a hit.
Okay.
When I did Achami, Masanaba, I wasn't
Masanaba.
looking for it. When I did Lord Kenya, what do you call it? Midway or what was
Middle.
it? Yeah, I wasn't looking for a hit. I was just trying to outdo myself, and eventually it came out as a hit. You understand what I'm saying?
Great.
Yes.
So how do artists or songwriters hone their songwriting skills?
Oh, well, sometimes they have to learn by listening to music, listening to the greats. Yeah, don't ever fall short of. That's the most important thing for a musician, is to be listening. Most people think that, oh, if you're a musician, you are just your own yourself, so you just have to listen to yourself. But you listen to other people and expand your horizon, expand your vocabulary, expand your spectrum. So I think that's basically, and also we don't collaborate. One problem in this Ghana, we don't collaborate. Like I said, Mark Ronson produced a song for Bruno Mars, which had about 8 songwriters. There are songs that have 7, some have 6, some have 5, some have 3. And then I hear when you go to the big recording labels like in America and UK, the publishing companies,
songwriting team.
yeah, they influence, they kind of encourage the artists, the writers, songwriters to collaborate a lot.
Okay.
And they have what they call song farms.
Okay.
Song farms. They'll go and put you about 3 songwriters, put you in a studio, book another studio, put you 3 songwriters in it, book about 4 studios, put different songwriters. And then after you are working together, then they shift one person, they shift, like they have a shifting cultivation for all of you. One person will go to another studio, another person will come to another studio. So it's like they are just getting off the creative juices from you. However they can get it, they are going out and get it. But we don't do that here. We are so much of a how do you call it, Ankuna kind of thing, one-way traffic, one top kind of people that would believe that, well, I can do it myself, you know. But meanwhile, you are writing a song. If you got into a bridge and you can't write it, you don't know where to go. You don't know where to take the song from there. You can get somebody's help to come in and just add something and to help, and it helps with the creativity.
And the fact that you're an artist doesn't mean automatically you should write the song.
No. Whitney Houston doesn't write a song.
Yeah.
You know, but she's had all the good songs. George Benson is like that. He doesn't usually write songs, but he has all the good songs. So,
Okay.
you know, we have to learn to collaborate a lot.
Okay.
Musicians and songwriters. And then also, you see, the fact that you're an artist doesn't mean that you write songs. An artist doesn't write songs. Your first and unless you're a songwriter. If you're a songwriter and you're an artist, fine. Then you have the two skills. But the fact that you're an artist doesn't mean that you write songs.
Great.
If you have to go and get songs from good songwriters, go and get them, and don't come and make no, and then give them what they are supposed to do.
Okay.
Give them what they are due. Don't try to be smart about it.
All right, still here, Joy 99.7 FM, Showbiz A to Z. We're having a conversation about the music industry. You just heard Zap Mallet, who is a venerated music producer right here in Ghana. You can send in your messages now to 055 111 997. 055 111 997 now. Let me go to Kwame Rasta to pick his thoughts on all that we've said, or Zap Mallet has said so far in this interview. Kwame.
It's not very often that we get to be. I think the last time he came here was 2 years ago.
About 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's always a fresh breath of air when you have the legendary Zap Mallet in company. But I think that, especially since he came in after Dada Hafko had made his submission, bemoaning the bit about when you wake up and then you tune into the radio and you hear foreign songs, how blasphemous that is to organic indigenous culture, music culture. And I felt his pain and frustration at that. And I wish that were not the case. Now, when you look at 58-year-old Zap Mallet, for instance, he could be cited as our foremost of amongst music producers with regards to the new era of Ghanaian pop culture. Now, when he was asked who or what his influences were, he didn't cite somebody like CK Man. He didn't cite somebody like Gadiel Aqua, who died in 1958. He cited foreigners, Ted Riley's, Miles Davis, and the likes. These are foreigners who honed their craft and arts on their culture. They influenced our legendary and trailblazing Zap Mallet. Now, he's lived most of his life here. He telling us that he attended Accra Academy in Turkey, not in Russia, here in Ghana. He heard their records here in Ghana. Western foreign culture had infiltrated, and he tuned in to GBC or GR, whatever it was back in the day, and their music influenced him. Now, I mean, Dada Hafko he has a choice, the power of choice. He can wake up in the morning and never tune into anything, and he will be fine. Because you see, the high life itself, which is Ghanaian and organic, I'm just using you, don't worry. It is an amalgamation of Liberian fishermen, coasters, and a lot of influences from elsewhere. And then we adopted it here into ours. Let's not mistake ourselves to have invented anything beyond Bragro and the things with the good music
but
we sing.
We own this now. We've owned
yes,
it
we
now.
own it. And I am saying that when we wake up today and we hear music on radio, in as much as I wish it were Dada Hafko's music, because he has some classic tunes that Hafko as a musician, and then I'm not hearing Tiny or Becca or any of our good people's music or E.T. Mensah's music. It still doesn't make it criminal or wrong that we listen to foreign music, because it's been so repeated that it's become part of our culture that we hear and listen to music from elsewhere. Now, if the conversation is about finding our truest form of identity, and so we are blocking the influx or the importation of foreign music, then maybe we would have to go to basics and say that, listen, this is strictly what we have patented as Ghanaian art music culture, so this is all what we are playing on our radio. It is fair. Even the Afro beats that the Nigerians are spearheading, it is heavily influenced by Ghana's high life. Again, if the conversation is about, like last week, where I don't know if you listened, but there are efforts to
make high life
a
intangible
heritage, something at the UNESCO level. You listened?
I was at a conference.
Oh, so you are part of that?
Yeah, he's part of it.
Good. So if that is to make Ghana claim its fair share of pride with regards to something which is Ghanaian, and it is a step in the right direction. But then again, our music is influencing or has influenced Afrobeats or whatever it is they call it in Nigeria, and it is good. So when the Nigerians in the early 2000s, or in fact our high life stalwarts, went to Nigeria and informed their culture right from when Ebo Taylor and Fela were mates in England, we influenced other people because they, okay, today we can say that they slept on the job and our music got into their airspace.
But they don't play us on their morning radio.
Yes,
Even
but
though we have influenced them to that level. Now they have found what they want, they have owned it, and now they are championing it to the world.
so maybe if we are playing other people's culture on our radio, it is to inform something the next generation would invent, which will be also a new Ghanaian culture.
Isn't it about percentages here? Isn't it about
That's a different conversation.
Percentage of maybe foreign music being played on the
No,
radio.
I am with that.
I was
Hafko.
coming to that. I was
I
coming
know.
to that to say that.
So wait, all that you are talking now is about media representation, right?
Yes, he
Yes,
was
but-
responding
At
to
the end of the day,
Hafko's comment about
yes, responding to it.
Yes.
It's about media representation,
Yes.
our representation on the media
Yes.
with
Yes.
foreign
yes,
and
yes,
local.
yes.
The quota. And
Yeah.
I agree that there ought to be, because again it informs our daily bread. In fact, the conversation we are having today is about bread and butter.
Yeah.
So when the Ghanaian musician is broke and is still looking up to government for welfare handouts, whilst there are opportunities for him to be paid his or her due if his record is played on the radio and we are playing foreign music, of course it doesn't make sense and it is not fair. So in principle I agree with that, Hafko, but the point is, if we want to claim something as strictly Ghanaian, then I am saying that that invention itself came as a result of the influx of foreign music, because the person who is sitting right next to you, who is our foremost and could be cited as one of the pioneers of new era pop culture music wise in Ghana, himself sitting right next to you, citing his influences, did not mention Gadia Akwa or Ifrimamu. He mentioned foreigners, he mentioned black people out there.
I mean, listen, all I'm trying to say is that, yeah, we can't be doing that at prime time on radio. Okay, if we had
Ask Zap whether he heard those influences are done in the night.
No, listen, if we have the structures right, and playing a foreign song would incur a heavy fee, I bet you a lot of radio stations will limit it. A lot will limit it, because listen, a lot of musicians, as I indicated earlier, they don't get into playlisting on radio. Why? But they are doing good. We need to open up space.
So how about the Ghanaian musician today using other communication channels? Because mainstream media is, let's say, biased towards foreign music. How about the Ghanaian musician employing other communication channels in this new era of wokeness, using the internet to propagate high life, for instance. Even if at the government level we're going to institute an office that would help propel individual musicians to sell their music through other communication channels on the world stage, I think we should also employ alternative avenues of advertising our Ghanaianness, our Ghanaian record.
All those
and you see, Zap in his submission cited having missed out on certain, or not having taken advantage of certain ways of raising revenue or revenue streams. Now, maybe today we are wasting time, in quotes, on looking forward to a quota. The law has been sitting down, broadcasting bill has been sitting down forever.
Yeah.
Some have died in poverty, some might follow. Now, how about creating avenues, workshops, or reaching out to our oldies that listen, in as much as a musician you do not retire, you sitting behind because you do WhatsApp and Twitter and things, why we no go employ these streaming services and see how we can propose to government that listen, support us with this facilities so that we better sell our music? Because like you said, if you take $1 million to Russia today, they are going to sell your high life music. You might never return because they go collect the money and you too. Do you understand? Which will be very fair, because what thing they go do for?
I want to say something.
Okay,
I want to say something.
please.
Bosco.
Yeah. What it is this whole conversation can only be orchestrated with state support. I think less than 20 years ago, if you mention Nigeria, what comes to mind? 419. Then the Nigerian government adopted a deliberate strategy. The state put support behind the industry. So you realize that over a certain period, Nollywood became the biggest.
Yeah.
If you take out what you call it, the Indian movie industry, you come to Nollywood, even before you think of Hollywood, because of the numbers.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at their music, the state put support there. Few Nigerian radio stations play a certain amount of foreign music. It is deliberately orchestrated. That's why, to a certain extent, Kwesi says the progress in the industry is individual, but we can get it on a collective level if there is that amount of deliberate state support. So, for instance, this broadcasting bill we've been talking about, somebody will put it down to lack of political will or lack of awareness. That is ignorance. Because if people would appreciate that music or the creative arts can position Ghana a certain way, the whole conversation will change. Absolutely. But right now it seems it's either we, the industry, we're not making the proper business case. Because I think the industry is also part of the problem. Every weekend when you tune into radio stations, of course, apart from, and you guys too, sometimes you go there, have to be honest. When you tune in, Kwesi, if you go and bring an investor from London and he listens to, I don't want to mention stations, 2 or 3 stations, will that investor put the money?
No.
So for me,
Why? Why?
oh, because we are always bad mouthing our industry.
He will learn sense from there.
And listen,
Are you sure it's bad
let me say this. The media even forgets that they are part of the creative industries, and they have a role to play in the growth. So what they do is they're either pushing ratings or audience, and they know it's the salacious stories, the scandals and things. That's why, Charlie, when you guys do these kind of analytical conversations, that is where the policymakers can start taking it serious. But Charlie, if every day we come and it is a beef or kako that we are discussing, we're wasting our time.
Doc,
Let me.
still on the media side.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kwame, I think that you watch English Premier very well. For all of us here, we watch English Premier.
Yes, we do.
Have you seen that the English Premier, anytime there is a player disagreement on the park, on the field, or maybe one of the supporters, maybe who is mixed with some herbs or non-herbs, jumps onto the field.
Why are you saying helps? You're looking at me like yo.
Don't mind him.
Maybe with a supporter who is mixed with some unknown herb from different
let's take substance.
from a different planet, jumps onto the field. Immediately, we that are having the feed, that's whatever that is happening, be it is immediately protected. You don't even see it.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? There is an intention that we will not let people see our backyard.
Thank
you.
And the negativity of what is happening in the English Premier.
Yeah.
They will not. Even in the World Cup.
Yeah.
Look at how they plan it. Cameras. That's why they have over 90 cameras in one match. They will push you to the. They will bring you. The feed person will bring you a feed of some spectators who are waving. Somebody's girlfriend sitting somewhere, and they won't let you know what is happening on the field.
Yeah.
Sometimes even instances when there's light off, they try to make it like it was not the light off. Maybe there was eclipse of the Africa that came on the field. This is an intentional act, and that's why Daddy is saying that. Until it is important for the media to see themselves as part and developers of the creative art industry. Me personally, if you ask me, I'm becoming one person who's almost giving up on government interventions.
Oh, you haven't.
Forgive me.
Don't go there now. Let's just stay on the media.
Yeah, no, because the Daddy said something on the
Political will.
on political will. That's why I'm saying that I'm one person who is almost giving up on government things.
Okay.
Because there's too much of bureaucracy that is surrounding government ability to demonstrate the support of the creative art industry.
Good.
There's too much of bureaucracy. In as much as the financial muscle is there, somebody can just sign pen and paper, like how Havco started and says that, look, we should even invest money into music than even football. But if you look at GFA, a secretariat, and the kind of influence they have, do we have the same kind of influence with music? We don't. And so that assertion is neither here or there, because the structure that GFA has in pulling government balls, we've been in this town, and money has been put into private jets to be taken to Brazil for footballers to be paid before they go to the field. Can we say that? Can any musician in town says that I'm in Kumasi? If government does not bring me this money, I won't perform at Kumasi Sports Stadium. Yeah.
I remember when Kwakese was jailed in Kumasi, and nobody turned up. Very serious.
So Kwame, I'm saying that for so far we haven't had any strong government demonstrating a strong will of supporting the creative art industry. Especially even with music. Especially with music and this our art. It has always been, we've always become a secondment to a particular, and if you look at from the years, look at where we've been seconded to from the last almost 16 years. At a point we are at chieftaincy. At a point we are at Minister of Information. At a point we are at tourism. And now even where we are now, look at it. Big. Tourism in itself is a whole larger institution altogether. And then they say Ministry of Creative Arts, and if you look at it, music and what Jumanko Tempo is a whole lot. So I don't want, maybe that will be for another day discussion. But like I'm saying that, Kwame, the media has an important role in the development of the creative arts. And giving feed, whatever feed that we are giving to investors or people, what we are discussing here now, I bet you go out there and listen to how many people are listening to it.
A lot of them.
Some of them may be witches. Some of them will be real human beings. Some of them may be investors. Some of them may be visitors who have just arrived in the country.
Yeah.
And they are listening to where they want to put their money into the creative art. And so this moment will open an opportunity for somebody to even get an investor to do something.
Great.
So I'm saying that whenever we open this microphone, as much as powerful it is important for us to have at the back of our mind that whatever we open this microphone and we are transmitting, we should be careful enough to know that we, the media people, we are part of the creative art growth. And so, in as much as we are looking for top-notch story to sell our headlines, we shouldn't do it at the expense of collapsing one particular industry where we are part. Because when the music industry falls, it will get to a time here, you give news from morning to 12 midnight. And that is what we are discussing. That's how crucial it is for the media to look at how we will have an agenda. I happened to be Becca's manager some years back. We traveled to Nigeria. I traveled with Becca for almost 2 years to Nigeria. I will tell you, if you go to Lagos, even though Glow, we were Glow ambassadors then, signed, Becca was then on Glow ambassador. If you look at the biased nature to which they were even putting, like the kind of things we were getting, like the airwaves and everything, he got to a time myself and Kiki Basi, we need to do some hanging movement to be able to even get some media attention in there. Because everything we're discussing then, it was about the artists, it was about Sonny Energy, it was about the Kwe, it was about the bunch. It's it. They look at, they ask Becca from where? You go to you two from where? That's how they look at you. Yeah. As if like you are just like some small ants that have entered into their pocket. We need to have, we are not saying, coming from where we sit, no country can sit and say that, look, we will have only our own music dominating our airwaves.
No.
That, I'm not sure anybody is expecting for that.
No.
Definitely, because we are into global space. And every year we sit, we say that we are in a global world. Every country now, we are exporting, you want to export your batakari to China. If China people also bring you their toothpick, why do you say no? This is what is happening. We are into global business marketing.
Okay.
And so definitely, some amount of music from elsewhere perhaps will jump into our media airwaves. Well, everybody has their taste.
Sure.
But what we are saying is that there should be an organic agenda to project the Ghana music industry, per what we have, as the practical, as the bestseller to the world. For us to be able to cement ourselves into making proper money into our pocket.
Okay.
Either than doing it at the expense of our people and celebrating other people, giving them platforms, using motorcades to drive them from our airport, and then when it's the turn of our artists, you tell them that they should drive from their home to the venues.
All right, Kwesi Ernest, the artist manager, Showbiz A to Z on Joy 99.7 FM, sponsored by MTN everywhere you go. Superstar multi-fruit drink from Casa Preco Company Limited. We're still here. My name is Kwame Dadzie, show produced by Philip Nye, Anita Tay, and we're still having a conversation on the Ghanaian music industry. We're looking at the lows, the highs, and the way forward that I have coached. So you brought this whole thing about the media and all that. And okay, so agenda setting is what you talked about.
Yes, I wanted to add something.
Yes.
From the angle Kwame was coming from.
Yes.
I understood him perfectly. But you see, we all know that we do not have radio rates for songs in Ghana, right? If we ever had that, we will know that when Kwame Dadzie is coming on the show, maybe your playlist has been pasted on the wall. You know what you're coming to do. You know what you are playing and all. But we do not have that here. So we must respect the prime times that we have on our media space. It is not, we don't have to use our prime time in playing them songs.
In playing foreign songs?
Yes.
At all? Not even one or two.
Okay, maybe one.
Sometimes the content of the show requires that.
Calls for that. That's fine. But listen, you could tune into a radio show, and you could hear maybe 6-7 foreign songs straight up. I have once encountered a radio presenter who told me that I do not want any artist who will give me something to influence me to play what he wants me to play. I want to play what I want to play. And that person was referring to just playing what he deems fit for the program that he does. We need to have generational thinkers in our media space. Like I said, we can't just be open because, like I said, we are not protective enough. Right now, Doctor has said when they went to Nigeria, when we were Xylophone took Ghanaian artists to Nigeria. Some of our heavyweights. We saw what happened because the mindset they have is that
maybe you didn't do they didn't do the due diligence in doing the groundwork, if you like.
Kwame, we all know that Ghana
feasibility studies
listen,
before.
we all know that Ghana is a country that has a lot of
Sure.
Our hospitality is like second to none and all of that. Other places, it is not like that in other places. Because even in our orientation in our homes, the day Ohoho is the day the new Pyrex bowl will be used to serve the Ohoho. The day a foreigner comes to the house, that is the day the chicken will be killed and all the meat given to you see. So the mindset of the Ghanaian is that whenever it is foreign, it is good, it is fun. That is why we find ourselves in this space. But in this generation that we find ourselves, we need to be able to elevate ourselves from there and move to the next level, because believe you me, 10-15 years to come, we will regret some of the things we didn't do in our youth.
You may
Zap,
slavery.
Zap,
Kwame, you see,
Zap.
the thing is that the Ghanaian always likes foreign things. You see, let me tell you. Even
Always? Is it always?
I beg, I dare say that. Let me tell you what, because the high life we are talking about has always been influenced by foreign music, whether I like it or not.
Jazz.
From jazz to gospel to high life to pop. We had reggae high life.
Yeah.
We had jazz high life. We have funk high life. We have bugger high life. We had hip life. Every time high life has to collaborate with something from the West.
Okay, Zap. So I was coming to my next question, as in, what is Ghana's music identity? Do we need just one identity as a country?
Yes, as a country, I think.
Do we need one? Do we have one?
Yes, whether we have one or not, and now we are trying to determine whether we have one. That the debate is going on it's going on furiously as we are sitting here.
Isn't high life our
That's
identity?
what I'm talking about. We talk about that high life identity. Have we even noticed that it is high life? Do we even know that it is high life? That's our identity.
Don't we know?
Come again?
Don't we know?
I don't think we do. Because if we do, we would have been playing it better, and we have been.
Don't we play high life almost every day?
Well, I don't know. I that's a question for another.
Because you mentioned all the evolution of high life. Going through Boga, going through.
Yes.
Yes. So, don't you think that we still play high life on our radio stations or events and all that? Don't we consume high life?
As for the media, I can't say anything.
Or even at events, don't we consume high life still?
We do. I think we do. But I think my colleagues can tell us about the scale of at which we enjoy or the high life enjoys airplay. You understand? I think it's about enjoying the airplay. That's the most important, because others they find other genres or other forms of foreign music enjoying more airplay than our own creativeness, which is.
Aren't all the songs that our young musicians call Afrobeats, and they high life of a sort? Can't we call them high life?
Yeah.
Can they be classified as high life?
To a certain extent, because some of the Afrobeat songs when I hear Kwame Dadzie, I think there are even beats that I've played before. Yes. Yeah, when I hear there's like beats that I've played before. I played them before. So it's like the same thing that we keep recycling. But they've got a name to it, they've tagged it something, and they've owned it by themselves, and they are doing it, they are projecting it. But it's something that we have done before, we are still doing.
What's the best music genre to represent us internationally?
Well, I think it's high life. What else?
Okay.
Wow.
Are we going to take reggae?
Let me. Okay.
Can reggae? No, wait. Can reggae represent us as a country?
So
No.
let me say something.
Okay, Bosco.
You see, this fixation on only high life for me, I think, is limiting. And let me explain. If you go to America, they talk about their jazz, they talk about their funk, they talk about their R&B, and Zap will tell you that the rhythm and blues we grew up listening to, it's not the R&B you guys are listening to right now.
Yeah.
So music evolves. As a nation, we need to appreciate that it's sort of generational. So the kids today, they sync more with hip life and the derivatives like Afro beats. The other day I was hearing somebody say, "I'm a piano high life."
Another fusion there.
The point I'm making is that as a people, we will not be represented by only high life.
Yeah.
That would be limiting. What we need to do is to open up to our creativity, because the conversation shows that the genesis of what we call high life today is a fusion of African rhythms and Western rhythms played with Western instruments.
Yes.
Some people say, can you imagine how Sarkodie will sound like if he's rapping over Kete or rapping over Adowa? And those are the things that the Yusuf Indos, the Angelique Kijos of this world have been able to do. It seems when we're talking about our music, we stop at high life and we don't go to the source. What about our Agbaja? What about our Pan logo? See what Amanziba did. Amanziba's classic is what we in Labadi call Pan. It is typical La Pan. I grew up in La.
Wow.
So the way he sings and chants, that is the rhythm. So if our contemporary musicians can even step beyond.
The same thing Flavor Shatta has speak with his new song.
Thank you.
Conqueror is coming. He is here. Yeah.
So-
Jabu Zobu. Flavor. Yeah, the Nigerian music.
So for me, I think that's what our musicians should do. Move beyond just high life and explore our indigenous rhythms and see how you can take them into modern times.
But let me come to that half cool. So what genre should we use as our international genre to represent us internationally?
For me, like, I feel everybody must be allowed to do what they want to do.
Okay.
But we need to have a genre that we can be identified with. Okay, like I said, if you go to Jamaica, there are rappers there. There are rappers in Jamaica. There are people in Jamaica who do hip hop music. You understand? But reggae has become the identity. If you go to, let's say, Vanuatu, and somebody is singing and in dreadlocks, I believe people who don't know the person might think the person is a Jamaican, because they've been identified with that.
So you're going for high life?
Yes, we need one genre that we can be identified. Like today, the Nigerians are being identified with Afrobeats all over the world. You understand? Because it feels like everybody in Nigeria today does Afrobeats. But I don't think that is the case. There are a lot of hip-hop musicians in Nigeria. You understand? So we need one genre to frontline everything. But everybody must be allowed to do whatever they want to do. But then we need, if it is high life or if it is hip life, whatever it is, we need an identity to spearhead the movement.
Question is, which genre are we taking?
Personally, if you ask me, after losing out on Azonto, which puts Ghana on the biggest international space, we lost it heavily. It was one of our biggest exports, Azonto, which nobody claimed ownership of apart from Ghana. And we couldn't sustain it. We built Hip Life and we let it go. We couldn't sustain Hip Life. We built Azonto, we couldn't sustain it. And we are here now, visiting ourselves on people's old remains and then claiming to be ours. What people are even abandoning, you see, is what we are trying to claim ownership of. Hip hop, which is almost dying in America. You know, young ones come and say we are hip hop artists. I said, where the thing came from, they themselves, they are even trying to shut it down. So I think that, like Hafko said, it's all about the mindset. It's all about the mindset and what Ghanaians want to hear. The question is, being a Ghanaian, you a Ghanaian, what music identifies you more, that you will be proud to say that this is for my own? Once the people who are patronizing the songs, who are putting resources into it, can adhere to the fact that this is what sings with that and this is what we can put our money on, I'm sure that in global economics, that should be the ideal situation to allow the generation to put themselves into. Because it will be of no use also going to put resources into something, you bring it out there, and then the general public is not ready to put their money into it. It will also become a lost market. It means that, so this is how the situation should be. So personally, we need to look at the voices that have been. And I am very excited about the new rebrand that seems to be associated with the younger generation doing music. That it's not about going to pick a typical high life done by Nana Pedu in 1942, but you can pick a typical high life Nana Pedu did, and then adding a few fusions to it, and then coming out and say it is so and so, it is so and so. What are we celebrating? We are still paying homage to what our forefathers left for us, which is the authentic high life. Though in our time, we have tried to add value and added new symbols and things to them. You understand? Like, let me give you an example. Zab Mallet was the one who recorded a ACP Kofi Sapon song, Semi-Consort, the hit one.
Yeah.
That took him.
High life song.
High life song. Zab Mallet was the one who sat by the keyboard and then guitar, played the whole thing. After what he has done everything, Nasi also picked it and decided to add some few Ghana stops, percussions, melodies and everything to it, and then he featured on it. And then we had, so if you pick the Kofi Sapon album, we had one that songs Semi-Consort. We had one which the version that Zamala did.
Oh wow!
And then we have the version that Nasi also did. All of them being enjoyed globally. The only difference is that Zap played his own from a different inspiration. Nasi also picked his own and played it also from a typical Gamashi inspiration. And the two of them all were accepted and people patronize it.
Good.
And this is where I'm coming from.
Good.
Once we can agree to this, believing that we will do it to the admiration and satisfaction of the entire music space, Kwame, we are fine to go as people. It's business.
Okay, let me come to Kwame Rasta. So we are picking one genre to represent us internationally. Which one are you picking?
Everything Dr. Kwesi Ernest has said is basically Boga High Life, putting the youthful inspiration into to recognize what our forebears did, Boga High Life. Now, in that one too died, or it's on life support. But you see, there is this musical instrument, called the Udroja. Zap, you've come across the Udroja? Daddy, have you come across the Udroja? Now, I was working on a production and I thought that it needed to be featured prominently. So I sought the best or the person who could play the Udroja. And then I reached out to Ejako Nimo.
Okay.
So he suggested that I reach out to the maestro of Udroja, but he would only be allowed to work on my production by Dotun for himself. Yeah, the Udroja is quite a distinct and very,
Can you describe to us how
it's a wind
instrument.
It's a wind instrument.
Okay.
So which Otun for? Make I go do 18 for there. So I asked him what the alternative was, and then he said that but Abranti be so on crying. Inti said me panka min kwahwehwe. So he directed me to Yera Chermantin. Now, two people who could play Udroja to almost perfection. This a wind instrument traditionally Ghanaian. One, unless Otumfuo sanctions it. Now, Yera Chermantin died a couple of years ago. God bless his soul. That is, ladies and gentlemen, the end of a Ghanaian instrument, strictly Ghanaian, the way we are praying that we do something distinctively Ghanaian. Now, there are other instruments too that are on the brinks of extinction as we sit here. One thing that has been laid bare today is Zap citing his influences, and they are mainly foreign. Now, it's not a slight on what his influences are. We are privileged for his contributions. But I am saying that if we are sitting here and we are still having a conversation about one genre to propel Ghana so that we become who we are and whatnot. That of course is a high life musician. There are others. I wish all of them all the best. Last week, Uncle Ken, a very wise man, sat here and looked at all of us and told us that we are not serious. I agree with him. So, because if we're sitting here, we've not even looked at Christian music and how influential it is with regards to the genre of high life. We don't even see it that way. The problems that we are faced with, the challenges with regards to identity, that Havko has been on that tangent forever. He's not a small boy. I wish him God's grace. I wish him everything, all the best. And make you people continue. Leave me out of identity conversation.
Thank you very much. Joy 99.7 FM Showbiz A to Z. The music in the background is Ohene Remix by Obrafour featuring Tiny. Yes, this is the song in contention now. This is the song that Drake picked a portion from and used for his Calling My Name. Yeah. So I'm sure by now you guys have heard about the suit. Obrafour has sued Drake, who's a Canadian rapper. He sued him for using the killer cut. That's part of the song that was voiced by Manche Ayikwe. Drake used that in his song Calling My Name, and so Obrafour has sued him through his lawyers in the US, and he is demanding $10 million damages. Yep. But let me give you a chronology of this particular case. So in 2003, June 23, 2003, Obrafour released the Ohene Remix. Yes. In the same year, he registered the song for copyright under the Ghanaian copyright law. In September, or on 6th September 2022, Obrafour registered the song Ohene Remix under the American copyright law. Now, in October 18, 2022, the Ghana Music Rights Organization, GAMRO, issued a letter to confirm that Obrafour had actually registered the song. Then, in June, 8th June 2022, one of Drake's handlers emailed Obrafour requesting sampling clearance, actually. So they wanted to clear the copyright of Obrafour to have killer cuts for their song Calling My Name. That was in June 2022. Okay, the email went, but Obrafour and his team did not respond. Now, June 13, 2022, Drake's handlers sent a follow-up email. That's the second email received with no response. June 17, 2022, Drake released a 14-song studio album titled Honestly Nevermind. And then on the album, one of the songs, Calling My Name, features that part. Killer cut, blood, killer cut. All right? Now, April 17, 2023, Obrafour sued Drake, his label, management, distributors, marketers, and everybody included in it. So he sued, and he's asking the court to cause the payment of damages and compensations amounting to not less than $10 million. On April 19, 2023, we saw Nimanche, who voiced Killer Cut, Blood Killer Cut on Obrafour's Ohene Remix. We saw his tweet on social media claiming that he is the rightful owner of the sampled voice and that Drake and his team need to deal with him directly and not Obrafour. Yes, so this is the breakdown of the case so far. Now, let me pick your thoughts quickly, even before we speak to lawyer Bobby Banston. Let me come to you, Daddy Bosco. You've heard this whole controversy on social media, Obrafour suing Drake and Nimanche coming in. What do you make of it?
The good thing is that the good part, that is, if the court throws this case out, the good part is that at least there'll be attention on Ghana music. People will start wondering, who is this Obrafour guy? What is Ghana music like? And so, whether we like it or not, a certain spotlight will be shed on our music industry. The merits of the case will be handled by the because if you check the lyrics of Drake's song, they're saying killer cop, blood.
Okay, so some people also raised a concern that perhaps the lyrics site may have gotten it wrong. Perhaps. Yes.
So, like I said, the courts will determine who has the copyright. But by and large, it's a plus for Ghana music.
Okay.
Yeah.
But has Musica done anything about it? As in, have you thought about it? Because you have two of your people in there, Obrafour and Manche, Manche going on social media, to tell his part of the story. Is this something that you are interested in as Musica, maybe calling them and then advising them in this case? Do you think it's something you want to do?
It's still early days. Maybe in the coming week, the union will take a position here.
Okay, let me come to you, Doc Kwesi Ernest. You've heard the case. I've seen you post a few things on social media as well. What do you make of it?
Yeah, the case is quite dicey because you see, copyright interpretations are different from wherever you sit. And what is funny and what is quite intriguing about the whole thing is the fact that the person who created the Killer Cat, Manche, the person who created it, Manche, is actually also the amount of bullet he is throwing into the matter now. I don't know his interest, because I'm thinking that in matter,
he voiced it.
Yeah, he voiced it, and per his tweets that I have seen, suggesting that he did it without his being paid. From the tweet that we've all seen, suggesting that he was not paid for whatever he created, because in a particular music, the person who owns the master in a particular has both the economic right, for the value, for the exploitation, and so his right, Manche's right, is now embodied into Obrafour's creativity. This is how interesting it is. Manche, in as much as he thinks he has right, and that whatever he created was not well appreciated or paid for, regardless of the right that he has, the right is still embedded in the creativity of Obrafour's claim. And so you expect that between now from where we sit, it will be exciting for the two of them to actually marshal forces together like this and sue for claim, damages and compensation, with a clear understanding that should we win, all parties, both the creator who was not paid and the person who owns the master, are all rewarded in their effort. The matter would have been very weightier if this understanding could have been reached. Because anybody who goes individual may possibly not win the matter as it stands. From where I'm looking at it, anyone who goes individual, because he's making money and he has even taxed Drake and his management that they should regard anybody who comes. And this is what he said. He said anybody who comes and claim that he's the owner of such and so, they shouldn't regard the person, that they should rather contact him, who is the sole creator.
But you think these tweets would have any effects on the case?
Tweets are very effective, especially when you are talking about the person who created it. This is not like he using a fake account. You are talking about the person, the creator. He himself also throwing his voice out there to making sure that he's heard from whatever the legal context that is going on there. He's heard in between the matter, so it makes the whole thing a bit, in the area. But then Obrafour has a case. For me, I'm an artist manager. He has a case because, from what I gathered, Drake's management, before the release of the said song, took opportunity to contact him for clearance before the release of the song, and by that clearance seeking, it means that they themselves admit to a violation or to a copyright being created by Obrafour, to the fact that they want to also use the material. So once they claim and accept it, and they have all these evidences are there, it means that then Obrafour now can use the letter that was written by Drake's management to him as an important evidence factor, adding to his legal management to be able to push for further redress. And that's why I'm saying that Obrafour has an upper hand in the matter, because once the user admits that you are the original content owner, and so I want your permission before I can use this one, it means that then you have been recognized in the copyright. That is what makes Obrafour's issue very clear from where we sit.
Okay.
So it will be better for Manche now from where we sit, because Drake management did not issue a letter to Manche seeking his permission to use the material, but then they rather send the message to Obrafour, who is the owner of the intellectual property and who is the owner of the masters being created, both him and his record label. So it is better now for Manche, if he wants to have any claims or he wants to be a factor to the matter, to now come back and move to Obrafour's camp together, join forces, join the suit, and then together they can win.
Okay.
And enjoy the good money if the money so comes.
All right. Let me read some of the tweets that Manche Ayikwe put out on social media earlier on in the week. Okay. This one says, I, Manche Ayikwe, maintain my intellectual property rights and claim over all my artistic works, including the Killer Cut sound you sampled off or your Henny remix used on Obrafour's album. Says Drake, rights to the said Killer Cut sound were never relinquished to Obrafour and was used by Edward Nana Poku Ose aka Hammer, producer of Obrafour's album, on Obrafour's song, as he did with others. He says the intellectual property, more specifically the Killer Cut sound, which was sampled in your song Calling My Name, belongs to me, Manche Ayikwe, and not Obrafour. Another one says that for the records, Obrafour filed a lawsuit to lay claim to my intellectual property without notification. Mike, I expect you to tell the truth about this matter, or I will. Another one says, please tell your coons I've been trying, and he's referring to Obrafour. I've been trying to get you to meet my lawyer since Drake released that song. You cannot claim compensation of my intellectual property that you also didn't pay for. We can revert to what I suggested last year and keep it moving. Another one says, hi, Mike Obrafour. I'm disappointed in your actions. Would be good to tell the public the truth about this matter, or I will be forced to lay out how you've never paid a dime for any of my works on your songs over the last 20 years. Goes ahead to say, Drake, I wish to convey family as owner of the rights and request that you consult my lawyer Kofi Bento before you take any steps regarding claims for compensation for the use of the intellectual property of Manche Ayikwe. You've been notified. Goes ahead to say, this is to confirm Manche Ayikwe insists that although Obrafour has interest in the matter, he is not the owner of the right and cannot assert it, definitely not alone, or make any demand for sole compensation for its use. A lot of that on social media. So Manche Ayikwe tweeted all these.
Okay, so Kwame,
you want to say something again?
yeah, quick
before
one.
I come
One
to Zach
second.
Mallet? Yeah.
Kwame, you see this building we are sitting?
Yeah.
The building belongs to who?
Please talk.
The building belongs to who? It belongs to Kwesi Twum, is that right? Okay, so now if government of Ghana discover gold under this building and they want to take it, there's no way government of Ghana will bring bulldozer and bring this building down without sitting with Kwesi Twum and see how they can be able to exploit the gold that is under there. That's why I'm saying that Manche may have a right and may have a claim, but under that time when these songs were made, possibly for all you know, there's even no legal document that is backing all his claims.
Thank you.
This one we are reading is maybe it could be public sentiment. He just reading. This is public sentiment. There's no legal document claim backing all this. So that's why I'm saying that he has a right, but the right that he has is embodied in Obrafour's moral right.
That's right.
So it will be important for him to align with Obrafour so that together they can exploit the gold and then make money, instead of he trying to go solo. Because you are going solo with what?
You don't have a license.
Because if you go solo, what are you?
Let me come to you, Zach. Zach,
Yeah.
you are a music producer. This is a case that involves various
Yeah.
intellectual rights owners, you know, and you've heard the Obrafour suing and then Manche's
Okay.
responses.
Yeah,
What do you
yeah.
make of all these?
The point is that what Manche is claiming, does he have a documented claim of it? That's like, does he have the right legal backing to it? You understand? Like what NS is saying, I totally agree with. He has a right to complain because it's his voice.
That's it.
It is his voice. He has a right to complain. But the thing is, the material that Drake picked from belonged to Obrafour. So it was Obrafour he had to see, and not Manche.
And according to the tweets, he had seen him already.
He has seen who?
He had seen Obrafour. He had gone to
Yes.
him.
So the thing is between him and Obrafour. From where Drake stands, it's got nothing to do with Manche.
Oh, no.
It's Obrafour he's dealing with. So right now, the onus is between Obrafour and Manche to sort it out between themselves. You see, if we are taking all these things serious from the beginning, like these copyright things, if we are taking them serious from the beginning, this wouldn't have happened. Because I'm sure by then it wasn't regarded. When we, you know, make I put my voice for top, Charlie, yeah, killer cut, yeah, you know, so it was just that thing. And Hammer somebody was asking me something about Hammer. I said, no, Hammer is not to blame at all in this issue. Because he as an artist or a producer, he saw what was fit and he put it in the song. And it's okay. He has nothing to do with it. So right now, the onus is between Manche and Obrafour to sort it out between themselves. That, look, brother, this is my voice. So what are we going to do about it? But because the claim itself on the master, which was taken from, it belongs to Obrafour. So it was Obrafour. It's Obrafour that Drake is dealing with. Now, coming to that, there's a similar situation that happened some time ago. Some guy, a producer, he played an artist's song, instrumental. He played an instrumental of it. And the company picked that instrumental and made an advert out of it. Now, the writer of that song wanted to go and sue the company. So, in this case, who do they sue? Are they right or wrong? You understand what I'm saying? The person picked the instrumental. He picked the song and played an instrumental, and the company picked it and used it for advert. But now the writer of the song wanted to go and claim. So who do you attack? So you see, it's a matter of copyright. So at the end of the day, they picked what the producer did, but the producer has his own master, which is registered. But the source of the song itself was by somebody else. Somebody wrote the song. So now who claims the song? Because the guy he was going to sue the company for using the song, but it wasn't his song.
Right.
It was a producer who did the song, but the guy had done the song already. But the producer did the instrumental, so the guy was going to sue him. It was the guy was going to sue the company for using the song. So now who do they sue? Is it right for him to sue the company, or is the producer who did the instrumental who's going to sue the company? And they share the proceeds with the artist. You understand?
Lawyer Bobby Banson agreed to speak to us. We're still trying to connect with them to give us some legal education on this particular issue. Let me move to. Okay, he didn't finish. Please.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, that'll have cool.
Yeah, Kwame. First and foremost, Drake acknowledged sampling from Obrafour on the album, right?
Yes.
He acknowledged it. He said,
yes.
Calling My Name contains sample from Obrafour's or featuring Tiny, and then another song by William. So it means that Drake, his publishers, they did the perfect job.
Groundwork, yeah.
You know, because this one it's publishers' work. So the publishers, they made all the
give
research.
credit, but they didn't seek the consent of the owner of the song.
So I'm saying I'm talking about for them wanting to clear the sample.
Okay, all right.
You said they sent 2 emails.
Yes.
And they didn't get a reply. So the mistake is them not getting a reply and still going ahead to release the song. That's where the problem is. But they wanted to clear the sample. Now, first and foremost, they would have cleared the sample with the one who owns the masters, and then clear it also with the composers, right? Now, Obrafour owns the masters, and he's also the lead composer. So he has every right to do the seal. Manche also has an interest in it because it is his voice. So I am thinking they both should sort themselves out and maybe allow Obrafour to spearhead it, because he is the one the publishers recognize that owns the master copy. It ends there. So like Uncle Zab said, Drake them's Ovo his label Ovo wouldn't have
OBO,
wouldn't have any issue with Manche, because the reason why Obrafour registered the song in America was to begin this process, because the American copyright law says that you can only fight copyright issues when it is registered a jurisdiction matter. You understand? So they knew what they wanted to do. So like Uncle Zab said, if Manche comes forward and they ask him, what is your proof that voice is your voice? The people who live in America, I don't think they are special people in being able to, you know, pinpoint whose voice is this and all of that. You understand? So because if it doesn't go like that, everybody could just come and say that this is my voice, and we'll have to believe it. But you need to have a proof. If Obrafour had not registered the song, he could go there with a CD copy or a cassette copy to give a proof that this is mine. What is Manche's claim? So for me, I feel like if Manche, they just have to meet Obrafour and, you know, just try and trash it out. At the end of the day, it is Obrafour who can spearhead this matter, because he owns the masters. The music, the song is in his name. Once publishers have been able to rectify that this song belongs to Asimesi, that is it. So Manche they should just join Obrafour. I don't know why they both live in Ghana, Accra, I believe, and it is becoming difficult for them to reach, you know, an agreement to just do this thing and do it right.
Okay.
Because back in the day, like they said, there was not much knowledge in music in Ghana. So I don't even believe that anybody ever thought that a day will come and say, if somebody should sample the song, all these issues are going to pop up. Obrafour was huge back then, and I so believe that if anybody tells you they want to push your name or your voice on Obrafour song, you will be happy, because you understand he was big back then. Nobody knew about copyright issue or nothing. Charlie, you just want the exposure. You understand, Charlie? Your voice, your Obrafour in song inside. That was it back in the day. But today, Asema Bahono, they should just sit down, have an understanding, and know that okay, say 10 million cry a year, ODSA, MDSA, and then we can move on, rather than all this, because the people will just begin to believe that these people are not serious. I saw an American lawyer tweeted on Twitter, I forgot the name, like 3 days ago, and he said that if Drake were to be an indie artist or some small artist, he could have gotten away with it. Because nobody would have paid attention. But Drake is Drake.
It's Drake.
And that is the reason why this thing will fly. So his advice to Drake and his team is that they should try and get it out of court and settle Obrafour and his people.
Kwame Rasta, so let me read this from the writ that Obrafour filed against Drake. Says, and this is how the writ describes Manche: a male voice with a distinct tone and accent. Do you think if maybe the writ had mentioned Manche's name, he would have been okay with it? Like, wouldn't have gone on social media to tweet all that?
Kwame.
Yes, sir.
Are you a law student? Like, do you have any law foundation? I don't. Okay. Your producer says you are just like me. I don't even like Mokola, that whole area. I don't really like there, you know. And the reason I am trying to find out from you is because I think I need some help discussing a civil matter in the law courts. Because as it stands now, I don't know if the way like my co-panelists have expressed and dissected the issue, it violates civil cases. You know, we've heard stories that because if anybody comes after me, I don't know what they will get. There is nothing. Do you understand? But I still need to tread cautiously. Having said that, I have had the honor of speaking with Obrafour 2 days ago when the story broke, or was it 3 days ago? When my attention was drawn to it, I called him because some of us were there when this music was being created.
Oh, wow.
Usually the way we worked in execution entertainment was when the artist or Obrafour does his work. In fact, this was this song featured on the execution. I think it was a single release before the Execution Diary album, or it's because around that time, Time Out for Adhesion, Toffa, the Obrafour Toffa album had the original. The Ohene original, and him and Tiny did a track called Ahado. We didn't really promote that track, so this was an opportunity for him and Tiny to do a blockbuster of a song. And this song, in fact, the first time it was performed at the 2004 Ghana Music Awards, I think Space Phone Music Awards night, the microphones actually went off, and I was backstage, and so I called Obrafour not to find out the details, but to actually let him know that, you see, some of us didn't work on the production because I'm not a producer. But we tire where we were during those days, and I believe strongly say if I give him the advance notice that Mike, 10 million there, say we no go get to the 10 all. But anywhere the chips will fall, don't lose guard and forget, say, Rasta work seriously back in the day.
So you get shares.
Daddy Bosco, listen.
Are you also part of the zoo?
No, he's not. He's not.
Nyabuche. You see, me, when I started as recently as 2001, it was Hammer that introduced me to Obrafour at the Hasha Studios as a teenager. And then when he adopted me, I got my first ever mobile phone. Alcatel, I would never forget. From Obrafour, I wasn't alone. Kwakese too got his first ever mobile phone that same day. And a few others, all of us. See, Obrafour has helped. Oyohene remix and the fallout from it, as recent as now that we are discussing it. Make no mistake, my brother. When you see me and my life has changed. It is not Sakawa. My brother, we have worked in the day. And I am telling you, Kwame Dadzie, that I am on the brinks of changing my life. And do you understand?
And you are my friend.
No. Cool down. I know you on Facebook, but you don't be too ambitious. Listen, Kwame Dadzie, $10 million in Uswatias here. The conversations, when I called Obrafour, and then he picked up, he says, Rich, it is saying, and then I was like, brah, it is saying, bien, it is saying, bien, 10 million, no. Do say scrap. I just want tell you, say, don't forget back in the day when we were in the Hasha Studios, the kind of efforts we put inside, we were not copyright owners, but we worked. So, bro, Mike, I am telling you, I am aware that recently you came to Ekropon to perform on the mountains. You didn't call me. Now I get the wisdom behind it. The fewer, the merrier. Do you understand? You are already hatching. But you see, Kwame.
Yeah, so
the bit about Manche,
yes.
Manche and his tweets. I am also aware that this conversation, there's been a series of conversations, and even before the efforts were made to hire an American-based legal representative for Obrafour. And I think that if like Akwesiene said in an earlier submission on a separate matter, that we don't know who is listening and investors might be listening. The reaction, the way things have panned out, especially from the Manche angle, epitomizes the kind of people we have in the industry. What was the point of him having gone the route he took? Really? Because you are not the copyright, the product itself. Like somebody rents your apartment and then he has his own meter. You, the property owner, the meter is registered in your name. But somebody rents it and then, or a guest comes there and does illegal connection. When he runs away or he signs out of the property, when ECG comes, they don't know who the tenant was or is. It's you, the property owner, who will be hauled to court to pay the damages and whatnot. In this case, I think that, especially since conversations had ensued behind the scenes, Manche should have just gone after Obrafour, because the Drake people are dealing with the host of the intellectual property. Now, if you have reached out to Drake, when Obrafour reached out to Drake, none of us heard it. It was only when the news broke. Now, they had reached out earlier, but when Manche reached out to Drake, we all saw it, because he put it out there in the public space. That's the mark of somebody who really is, without sounding disrespectful, desperate. But again, when back in the day when we were working in the studios, I remember the Hammer would say, Charlie, so when you say Manche banner obe blessing obe, yes, there are takes that he does that didn't really make the cut. Do you understand?
It wasn't a killer cut.
You know, so it's more like, I mean, that's not to disregard or belittle his efforts. Art is art. Even if it's a whistle or a vow, it is his creation. You know, so I think that there's more to be said and done. And Obrafour did admit, and I think it's fair to put it out there. The heat that came from him when the email that was not replied or responded to first came, he reached out to all interested parties, including Tiny. So I even called Tiny to give him an advance warning that just in case anything pass inside, because me and Tiny too, so we tired.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
I mean, my life is about to change. Do you understand what that means?
And you're my friend, so our lives will change.
Facebook will restrict.
Thank you very much, Kwame Rasta. Showbiz A to Z, Joy 99.7 FM. You can call us now and share your thoughts with us on this issue, on the topic for discussion today. It's a music industry discussion, but now we're talking about the Obrafour and Drake issue, which also has in the mix Manche Ayekwe. You can call us now on 0302216 541 0302216 541. Yes. In the meantime, though, I have some messages here. I agree with Dr. Ernest. If Manche likes, he should go into a studio and just record Killer Cut, only for us to see. Where I fault Obrafour is that he should have connected with Manche to take this action. Now, my problem is, if these two gentlemen can't agree to disagree, how serious would Drake and his team see them? Aigbeni Dogbeda from Nungwa. Yes, and I have somebody on the line already. Good evening.
Yeah, my name is Israel. Good evening.
Your name is?
My name is Israel. Good evening.
Good evening, Israel. Let's hear you.
Our lives are about to change in this whole Obrafour matter. I think that the big men, the ones who call the shots, should because it's a big thing. Ghana can reap all the benefits we should reap from this thing. Obrafour can get his money, and we too can get a lot of attention on ourselves, especially when we win. I believe that he has a strong case. So let's all come together. Let's. For me, Manche doesn't have a case. He's just, like someone said, trying to seek attention. So they should call him and then speak to him. I mean, let him, if we can present a united front. I'm saying we because I'm interested in Ghanaian music and I'm a Ghanaian. So we should all try and get whatever we can get from this and then get the attention that we all can get from it. That's my take. You guys are doing a good job. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your call. Yes, and we have another caller on the line. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Your name and where you're calling from?
Okay, so actually this is like this from Wager.
Okay, let me hear you.
Okay, so about this court issue and suing and stuff. You know, I know that if maybe you have a contract with somebody and a person provides you with a certain information, that information is yours, right? Hello?
Let's hear you.
Yes. And because of that, I think now, if Obrafour paid for that content, then it belongs to Obrafour. He has the right because he paid for it. If you pay me to do something for you, maybe render a service, I can't tell you that the service I render to you belongs to me still. Do you understand? Maybe I developed a website for you. The website by contract belongs to you and your business, not to me, the developer. And to that, I think Obrafour has the upper hand of actually being the right owner of that content.
Okay, thank you very much for your call. Yes, and Uncle Zap.
In this issue, let's not just play Manche out. Let's not play him out. I think he has a point. You see, because if you are an individual, and you hear your voice on such a platform, definitely you are going to be like, hey, Charlie, what's going on? You know, he's going to lay claim to something. You know, but then the direction where he's laying claim to the direction, his trajectory is where the problem is. He should go to Obrafour, not to the one who took the music or who took this thing. You see? Because after all, everybody didn't take the beat. They didn't take the beat. They didn't take anything from Obrafour.
Just the voice.
Yes, they took Manchester's voice. So you can't really write him off and say that he doesn't have a case or whatever. I think he has, but the trajectory of his case is where the problem is. But he has a point.
Okay, now let's hear Drake's "Calling My Name." Yeah.
So
yeah.
let's just his trajectory is where the problem is.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. So
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming to you, Daddy Bosco, who is head of communications for Musica, head of communications and projects for Musica. Very big thank you to you, Zap Mallet, who is a music producer, a big one of that. And then that have called High Life musician, High Life Prince himself, Kwesi Ernest is also an artist manager, and then Kwame Rasta, who also is an artist manager and a poet.